Most people bashed the Wii and said it was just a gimmicky waggle fest, but I'm here to tell you that it is truly awesome. And to prove it, I am the Game Collector and this is Second Opinion Games. And today I'm gonna show you my top 10 Wii games.
Second Opinion Games.
Number 10, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. You know, the Wiimote is perfect for third-person shooter games, especially co-op ones, where you can just run to cover, jump out, blow people away, and you know what? You actually need to use cooperation. As one person lays down cover fire, the other one is reloading, and vice versa. You never run out of ammo here, so you don't have to worry about that at all, and you have to move in sequence, or sometimes cover one other person while you move, throwing grenades down, or shooting the grenades out of the hands of your opponents. This is fun throughout. On top of it, the story is terrific, even though it has a perfect arcade feel that doesn't even need a story, and sometimes there are straight-on missions where it actually truly becomes a light gun shooter game. It's always intense, the music picks up. You could go into a bullet time mode if there's someone you really have to take out immediately because they are clearly going to mess you up with a rocket launcher, and this is a thrilling experience that you and a friend will love. And if you don't have a friend, well, the computer does its job with giving you one. Number 9, Excite Truck, a game that I played so much I actually burned a hole through it with the Wii Laser, so I can't play it on the Wii U to record it, unlike every other game that I'm talking about today. So I'm sorry for the video continuity issues. I actually had to go back to my backup on the Wii in order to play it, and my save file still had massively unlocked characters, which makes me feel invincible when I go to replay it. The Wiimote controller is perfect for this arcade-style game, and it never becomes a major hindrance. Sometimes I still fly off the road, but I'm pretty sure that's on me. And when you get into an accident, you don't always get penalized. Sometimes you earn an extra star, and stars are what's used to unlock later levels and later cars in this game, so you're always making progress even if you're failing. And before you'll know it, you'll be flying through the air with some of the craziest jumps I've ever seen in a racing video game, and it is just thrilling. Also, you could download your own music to an SD card, and then you could play that music while you're playing the game. So if you enjoy great music and a great racing game, well, this is definitely for you. Number 8, Clonoa. A 2.5D PS1 remaster managed to make the list, and you don't need to use the Wiimote to play it. You can play the entire game with the GameCube controller, so it feels like a bit of a GameCube game and a PlayStation 1 game had a beautiful baby child. Now, Clonoa's main gimmick is that his moveset is rather limited, so he has to pick up enemies on the screen in order to gain a double jump, or maybe he needs to throw them into the background or the foreground in order to pick up the many collectibles that are scattered around everywhere, which gives you tons of replayability because you want to see if there's alternate endings. There's also full voice acting this time around, which some people say it's a hindrance to the game itself, but personally, I love every second of it. It really does make me feel like I'm watching a Saturday morning cartoon, or more like playing one, and all the 2.5D experiences here show you all the different branching paths and all the nooks and crannies that you need to explore in order to discover all the collectibles in this game. It's one that once you pick up, you're gonna have a really hard time putting down. And on top of it all, the music is some of the best that the system has to offer. The PlayStation 1 had some great games, and I really wish they would have kept on remaking games that were already good and making them just a little bit better on the Wii. Number 7, Mario Kart. It deserves to be on everyone's top 10 list. They have online play, the drifting and the controls are perfect. Playing with friends, local co-op is amazing, and even playing Mario Kart on the Wii U and Nintendo Switch often feels a lot like the Wii version of the game, and that's because they seem to have perfected it here on this console. Driving your motorcycles, popping wheelies, going really fast. This version of Mario Kart is probably the very best version, and all of the other Mario Kart games that will even come after this one and into the future will probably just be copy-pasting these controls and this type of level design, even if they do just clean up the graphics a little tiny bit. But honestly, I'd rather just stick with the Wii version because I think it's the best Mario Kart experience. Number 7, again, because I couldn't limit myself to 10 games in a top 10 list, you know what, I decided to play by my own rules and throw in Batman the Brave and the Bold video game, made by WayForward, a company that is freaking top-notch at making 2D beat-em-up games, or just 2D games in general. You have some of the very best voice acting in any video game ever, a hilarious storyline, bringing in tons of villains, and the heroes that some of the people don't really know about to help you out in this experience. And this is just Batman at its 2D finest. And if that wasn't enough to sell you on this game, you could also play it on the Wii U. Well, that was a no-brainer because that's how I'm doing the recording. But you could also play the game on the DS, or maybe the 3DS. But then you could connect the Wii U to the 3DS and drop in Batmite, which will help you out by dropping in power-ups and combo power-ups and maybe anvils on your opponents and some bombs, which means you have your 3DS helper character just flying around, helping you out through the game. Nintendo loved this idea so much, they actually made it part of the Wii U to play Super Mario Bros., to drop in blocks to help for platforming and stuff like that. This truly is one of the best experiences on the Wii. Number 6, Super Paper Mario. Here's another game that didn't really start its life out on the Wii. It was actually originally going to be a GameCube game, which means that the Wiimote functionality is very limited. Usually it's just pointing at the screen to reveal a hidden doorway, but that could have been done with a simple button press on the GameCube controller. But what we got here is one of the most creative Mario game experiences of all time. Sometimes you could be playing in 2D, and at a flip of the button, the whole world becomes 3D and you look at things from a new angle. This adds puzzle solving to the entire game, and it is a full-fledged RPG. Now, the RPG aspect of it actually makes it a lot easier because that means you could carry a crap ton of health power-ups with you, so the game isn't very hard. But that's okay because later there is a 100-level castle that you have to just crush your way through. Actually, it's completely optional, so if you want a good challenge, you can play this, or if you want an easy game, you can play this. It's pretty much for everyone, except for people that have a really hard time reading, because it is wordy. However, the words that are here are often hilarious. But the one game that might even be funnier is number 5, You Don't Know Jack, the game that makes you feel like you're actually part of a game show. And this is one that everyone can play. Sometimes I have a whole bunch of freaking teenagers over at my house because I'm old and I have kids, and this is the game they reach for because everyone wants to dive in and laugh their butt off at these hilarious questions. Heck, there's even something called the wrong answer of the game, which makes you pay attention to these questions extra close, where you kind of have to begin with to even figure out what the heck they're even asking. Sometimes figuring out the question is half of the game, and even when you beat the game, then the people just sort of talk in different comedy skits. So never have I watched the credits fully in a video game other than here, because I just wanted to see more skits that they were acting throughout than just to jump into another episode of this game. This is one you probably should never play alone. Always bring a friend into the mix, or many, because it just brings everyone together with laughter, and even people that hate video games tend to love this one. Number 4, Need for Speed The Run. This looks like an absolutely average racing game. Of course, if you like arcade racers, then you're gonna probably really like it. And you're gonna like it a little bit more when you get into the storyline, which is like movie style good. This isn't the same racing game that was on the PS3 or the Xbox 360. It is the exact same game that was on the 3DS. It's probably why it looks like this, but I much rather be playing it for the Wii, because I could even plug in one of those Super Nintendo controllers from the SNES Mini and play through the entire game with a Super Nintendo controller. I love this idea, and it makes the game feel so much more enjoyable to me because it makes me feel like I'm playing the world's best Super Nintendo game. I know that's a stupid reason to like a game, but I can't stop playing it. It just makes me feel like a kid all over again, and there is little scripted events here and there that are kind of annoying, but eventually I just grown to accept them, and it ended up being one of my favorite games for this system. Number 3, Super Mario Galaxy. Boy, did Nintendo ever knock it out of the park this generation with Mario, and Mario Galaxy is seemingly the very best Mario game for the console, because they fixed the whole bad camera thing for Mario Sunshine by putting Mario on a spherical planet, so you could always keep the camera back and never really gets in the way. Also, the waggle remote makes you do a fun little spin, so it's not like you're doing something as violent as punching out mushrooms. You could always jump on their heads. There's lots of puzzle solving elements here, and it's one of those style games that is easy to learn, hard to master, because there are tons of challenges here that will really test your skills and everything you learned throughout your experience. Bowser also grows really big. Matter of fact, the boss battles here in general are huge, like galaxy huge. I know that's what they're going with here, and they completely nailed it with this game. Number 2, Wario Shake It. Mario didn't take the top 2D spot, Wario did, because the animation here is beautiful. There's even a little cartoon before you start playing, and it looked so good, I got my hopes psyched for a real full-on Wario cartoon that would play on television. Sadly, that never really happened, but what I did get here is the very best 2D experience I think I ever had in my entire life. The animation of Wario is spot on, the graphics are beautiful throughout this entire game, the level design is perfect with tons of little hidden nooks and crannies to explore in a straight-on 2D experience without having to add that gimmick of 2.5D or to make it 3D in any way, shape, or form. The waggle controls seem to actually work. There's a little bit of gyro to pick up things and aim, throw them sort of like Yoshi, and this is a true masterpiece. And on top of it all, when you get to the end of the level, you then have to work your way all the way to the beginning, and they managed to make that mechanic fun? How the heck did they do this? I can't see how any game could possibly be better for the Wii than this, because it's darn right perfect. Number 1, Resident Evil 4, yet another game that shouldn't be on the Wii because it was made for another system, yet somehow they managed to make the controls better than the GameCube. Matter of fact, I played it on the Xboxes and the PlayStations afterwards, and the controls were never as good as Resident Evil 4 for the Wii because you could pop off headshots like a total madman. And Resident Evil 4 is clearly one of the best games ever made because they keep on remaking it. I wonder if you add up all the times that I bought it and all the times that people bought Resident Evil 4 and the remakes, it probably would be one of the best-selling games of all times. And it deserves that because of the multiple ways that you could run through the game. You could choose not to pick up the shotgun at all and try and beat it with no shotguns, or try and beat the whole game with no sniper rifle runs, and that is doable because the pistol itself is sort of a sniper rifle because the aiming is so precise. There's also all the side missions after you beat the game, and the mercenary modes. This is the ultimate Resident Evil game, and I'm kind of reluctant to pick up the latest Resident Evil 4 remake just because I don't see how it could get any better than this. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
The modern cat spends most of its time sleeping on couches, playing with yarn, and coughing up fur balls. They also enjoy having their tummies rubbed.
I don't see what's so scientific about that.
Pose I Can't Believe It's Not Butter comes out with a 5 stages of grief line of products. After I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, which product would come next in the line? I'm very angry that it's not butter. I've lost all hope because it's not butter. I've come to terms with it not being butter, or I'll do anything to turn it into butter.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. I had a great time making it, and make sure you pick up every single one of these Wii games. These are all games that I played to 100% completion because they are simply the very best that the system has to offer, and it is the reason that I keep playing this Wii. And it is the reason I keep playing my Wii to this very day, because they're just fun. You could put them in if you're having a bad mood, and you will have a very difficult time putting down any one of these. So, did I miss your favorite game? Let me know in the comments So did I miss your favorite Wii game? Let me know in the comment box down below, and if I get enough people talking about it, well, then I'll do a list of your favorite Wii games. So until later, I will see you again, guys.